First you need to be to have. If you invert this order, you will not get what you want. You need to pay your bills. You need to have your freedom. You need to have the feeling of arriving at the restaurant and not need to look at the menu, the price of the menu on the menu. 8 years ago, I watched a video in English on YouTube that says the following: you should write down on a sheet of paper your goals for the next 10 years. And then you tear it up however you want, the yearly goals, and etc. You believe it, I believe it because I do it and it works. So it's not something mystical, it's not something you mentalized. It will happen, not mentalized it by thinking recurrently, as your habits will cause actions to turn into results. Music. I had already written that a while ago, many years ago, and I did not keep recurrently my desire to talk thinking about it. I was already living it. I was not thinking exactly what I wrote on that sheet of paper, which was one day I will become a Hollywood actor and have a house in Malibu. Okay, not only that, but several of the other things I wrote. I did not stand there recurrently pulling out that sheet of paper in my wallet. I keep it here to read every day. 5 years later, I read a piece of that letter, which 50% completed. 8 years later, I took out the letter again. The pocket, the UOL 80% is as if I had completed 10% per year. Let's enter this market to be one more, just as I did not enter digital marketing to be one more, even if it takes me nights sleep. You will be the best, that is the idea, always the idea, and if I cannot be the best, I will die trying. I read a phrase in a book of Napoleon I said the following: view yourself as rich people. If you want to be the best, I will die trying. If you are in any area, whether you are a lawyer or you work in a clinic, it doesn't matter how you see yourself as rich people if you want to be successful. And if you are in any area, whether you are a lawyer or you work in a clinic, it doesn't matter. You can even make one, but this is very important. You never get a second chance to make a good first impression always. So the finger that you see today did not start to dress like this or behave like this after you started to have results. No, first you have to be to have. If you reverse this order, you will not get what you want. I can put $1 million in your account. If you are unprepared, you will probably lose that money. Okay, so when I am in the most comfortable state of mind, my mind is in. I am in the most comfortable state. My mind can interpret that I am very comfortable to do something very. My serious work is desirable thing to have all the result I have to take my work seriously. There are people who are rare and differentiated and do not need all this. They have a focus commitment to sit at the computer in the way they have had my case, the computer, because I work from home. To make a business happen looks just like laughter is a universal language both here and in the Japan and China interests me. It is a universal language everywhere I go. So in the world people treat me with more respect. It would be a letter of entry and a letter of entry. So I am always seeking to improve. My competitor is the future. James, much has been said in the motivational world, in the world of it, that to do things you must do them first, leaving perfectionism later. Then there is that maxim, done is better than perfect. Right is that's right. I no longer deal with perfectionism. For me, that has nothing to do with procrastination. Many people actually procrastinate thinking they are. I know where I want to get to. I know I'm going to get there. So I don't put my perfectionism out there. So when I'm going to do something, it has to be in outlander mode. It has to be in surreal mode. It has to be in a way that will generate UOL for people. Sergio Cordella said, do the best under the conditions you have while you don't have better conditions to do it even better. So just like I said a few seconds ago, I don't believe that everything I am doing is merely perfect. There is always something that can be improved. That's why when you build something, you have to make sure that you are sure that everything is perfect. Something you have to make sure that in the conditions that you have, this is the maximum you can do. And if you training it more and more, you never stop evolving. This is the answer. Very much depends on your belief. Keep it with your own life. I always was this approach. I knew that when I started to expose myself, or even not exposing myself, being a completely crazy guy, I should always following the line of my father, the completely honest guy, of which nobody had anything negative to be able to comment on. In the beginning was already very driven by money. Everyone is, and who says he is not is lying. You need to pay your bills. You need to have your freedom. You need to have the feeling of arriving at the restaurant and not having to look 1 minute at the price of the menu on the menu. But then money becomes a little relevant. She has to see if it doesn't come along with what I do. I don't do what I do, music. But for it to come today, it has to come corresponding to my vote. It has to be intact. I cherished this. Probably I was a guy who always cherished to have few friends, but quality friends. Friend really for me is the guy who doesn't care about me, doesn't care about my statuses. The guy that if I blow a tire at 3 o'clock in the morning and call him so he can help me, he has to be under the covers with a girlfriend with a pot of Nutella watching the last episode of a series they watched together, got out of bed and comes to help me. This is a friend, is the guy that doesn't come to do one thing wanting another. And that's where I see that many people try to grow only in the professional and the personal side is in failure. They can't grow that also not professionally, so I always learned very well to gauge who I really should bring close, who I should keep away from. So I always learned very well to calibrate who I should really bring close to me and who I should keep away from. This since always the people around me talked about people and things. I talked about ideas and business, so I always calibrated my relationships very well because I observed the following. This person today is like this, is this way because of the friendships she has. I can observe the friendships, the people she talks to, the slang are the same, habits are the same, the actions are the same, so I have to be very careful with whom I relate to. I knew that no matter how armored my mind was, the mind of all of us is like a sponge. You put it in water, it sucks. You heard something from someone, it sucks, and it will. I didn't grow up believing in sweet words. I always loved those people that came close to me and were absolutely sincere. I understood one thing, it's very difficult to have that from someone because I repeat, people are too soft. So I prefer to surround myself with sincere friendships, no one touching my head, no one saying I am better man. I know I am already better at the things I do in those little details, etc. I want to know what I am worse at. Is this? You must first acquire something very important, emotional maturity. I have had this since my emotional adolescence. Emotional maturity, you can take criticism and not make excuses, just listen and say thank you, I will do better. Criticism does not shake me, compliments do not deceive me. This is the emotional maturity that you have to have. People neither here nor in China, in the United States, will listen to you if you do not have results. There is nothing wrong with being capitalistic with yourself. Selfish, that is how we are. Selfish is how we survive. It is part of evolution. The first, I will retire my parents. First, I will buy what I want. My life is this. First, I want to stop feeling this injustice and not being able to do what I want. Then I will have the pleasure of helping other people. Life is a moment and there is no future. Always burn with the strongest flame in this life. I understood that we have abundance. I will be who anyone in the world could ever imagine I could be, but I will still remember where I came from. I will not let success take away my humility. The word patience is synonymous with confidence. When you have patience to do something at the right time, you have confidence in what you are doing. There was a guy behind him saying, I need the painting for Friday night. No, the painting was going to be ready when he was ready. I want to impress. It is not about the money. I want to impress. I want to do something well, and the best ones don't need to wake up at 5 a.m. to be definitely productive. Driven is about planning. It is about knowing the right time to do something and focusing carefully and separating your time from where I came from. When you have patience to do something in the right time, you have confidence in what you are doing. It's not about the money. I want to impress. I want to do something well, and the best ones don't need to wake up at 5 a.m. to be definitely productive. Productive is about planning. It's about knowing the right time to do something and focusing carefully and separating your time. When you have patience to do something in the right time, you have confidence in what you are doing. It's not about the money. I want to impress. I want to do something well, and the best ones don't need to wake up at 5 a.m. to be definitely productive. Productive is about planning. It's about knowing the right time to do something and focusing carefully and separating your time. Doing something on time. You are confident of what you are doing. It's not about the money. I want to impress. I want to do something well, and the best ones don't need to wake up at 5 a.m. to be definitely productive. Is about planning. It's about knowing the right time to do something and focusing intently and separating your time. Doing something at the right time. You are confident of what you are doing. It's not about the money. I want to impress. I want to impress. I want to do something well, and the best ones don't need to wake up at 5 a.m. to be definitely productive. Is about planning. It's about knowing the right time to do something and focusing closely and separating your time. I want to impress. I want to do something well, and the best ones don't need to wake up at 5 a.m. to be definitely productive. Waking up at 5 a.m. to be definitely productive. Productive is about planning, is about knowing the right time to do something and focusing specifically and separating your time. I want to impress. I want to do something well, and the best don't need to wake up at 5 a.m. to be definitely productive. Is about planning, is about knowing the right time to do something and focusing specifically and separating your time. Subscribe to the channel, leave your join and activate the bell to receive notifications and help in the growth of the channel.